Hi, it's Kazuyoshi. So started to explain about I haven't named this yet actually, but the cognitive system, mm, new way of new approach, and it's all about how you make your decisions. And let's think carefully in how do we make decision because everything you do, of course, you need to take an action, but let's forget about taking action because that's about your behavior. But you need to make a decision, decide, and of course, when you make before that, you will need to judge something. So you may have several options, and sometimes you don't have an option. You have to start thinking from the option. But if you have an option, you will need to pick up. But even a 5 years boy or girl can make a decision. Like assume that she is the president of the company, and you bring two options and ask for a decision. And she could say this one. That is already a decision, which means that decision is possible. You can make a decision. However, that decision needs to be a meaningful one and impactful one, right? So how do we make a right decision or a better decision? You can think about this. And there are very many things, like you need to have a knowledge, experience. You can learn a lot. Information about the industry, or you need to have an information about this current situation. So you will need to ask what has actually happened, who is involved, what way do you think in that way, or those kind of questions are all the conversation communication to support what you will need, right? And when you gather and when you have sufficient information, then you can make a decision. And then maybe you may have a good decision, bad decision, or so-so decision, and there are various options that you can take, right? And eventually you will need to pick up the one thing. If you can only choose one thing, you'll need to find one thing. So what is as a manager or a CEO, if you're leading an organization, what is the necessary win rate of that decision? Nobody has judged this yet. However, there should be a sort of reasonable decision win rate. And I'm thinking about that. So if you are leading an organization, if your boss loses 1 out of 10, this means that 90% win. It's hard to sustain the company. First, you can make an initial decision and rectify after that. So that's okay. But if your final call wins only 9 times out of 10, I think it may be not easy for the company to sustain. So, because if you assume that you're driving a car, you have a destination. If you make a mistake 1 out of 10 times, probably you're not gonna reach the place, or you will need to take a lot of time to revise that. So that's what I think. So I believe that it's gonna needs to be higher than 90% if you are leading an organization. And we know that we can make our own decision accurately. So we have a capability, but when it become complex, when you're working in the dynamism of the organization, you need to have more than 90%. And I'm nobody has done the research for this, but I assume that the sort of 95% would be the zone that we want to aim for, which means that we can make one mistake out of 20 times, but 19 times you win. So that is a level that is required for the CEO. And just imagine if you win 98%, 98%, that means that you will just make one mistake out of 50 opportunities for decision making. It's going to be very strong, right? If you are 99%, of course, as a human, we make a lot of mistakes. So it doesn't mean that you make alone makes decision alone. You work with a team and you can collect all the information and you can make a modification. But the final call I'm talking about, final call, if the win rate is 98, 90%, 99%, that means that you will win out of 50, just make one mistake out of 50 or 100. I know this is hard. However, the good side of this is the last point, that is that the higher win rate in this decision making will allow you to make high risk, high return challenge. Because if you just win 9 out of 10, if you bet a lot hard, probably that's going to be a very risky life, right? But if your decision making or if your judgment is clean and sharp, the win rate for you is still high, and that will you can use the leverage of the system. So in order for you to use the leverage in whatever investment or whatever life, the leverage works strongly powerful for those who can make a sharp decision. So what we need to do is to enable us to make a sharper, clear decision. And that's going to be the next generation coaching or in consulting. That's what I'm thinking. So I have to go and I have to speak a lot about this in the future, but I need to finish today. So thank you for watching and look forward to speaking with you soon. Bye bye.